There's 3 days left, realistically. Monday, Tuesday, and not even really Wednesday of the off season. And that's it. It's all done. And then contest prep starts when we get back from New York. So this is the last full day of bulking off season with TMC Clays. Breakfast is 2 packs of oats with 1 scoop of whey. In slightly later today, because Luke's buying a belated birthday gift. We're getting our hair cut in Jack the Clipper? Jack the Clipper, which is a Shoreditch hair. But I got my hair cut last week, so I don't know what to ask for. I'm just going to get the sides trimmed. I'm experimenting with my coffee cafetiere game. I started with this, a number 3 Costa. It's not very nice at all. Then I went for a French ground coffee, number 5. This is a lot better. It makes the room smell nice as well. It makes us smell like we are sophisticated and know what we're talking about. Meal number 2. It's not a meal. It's a snack. Just getting some micros in. Off to get the barnet trimmed. I might go a little bit higher this time. Bit of a skin fade. Peaky. Look at this. Look at this. A business. Nice shave and that, but look, he cut me. Now I've got blood on my shirt. So L, gonna have to get the Oxy action thing out. I've just had some chicken and rice, but I didn't show you, therefore who knows if I actually had it or not. That was meal number 2. I've got 3 days left, well, the remaining week, so I'm gonna have an Oreo donut as well. Really take advantage of a pre-contest diet. Just go fuck it. But don't worry, lads and ladettes. A green tea is on hand to cancel all of the bad food out. I'm going to try and find a contact number for Tesco's and ask if their sales for Nutri-First has gone up since I've been eating them. Hashtag influencer. These ones are not the good ones, by the way. These are the cookies and cream. They're not good. Tesco Shoreditch didn't have the proper ones, which are the salted caramel crunch. I think I've just added the salted in there. Might just be caramel crunch. But I'm sure if anyone works at Tesco's that watches this, do you have a contact number? What are you trying to do? Put the Centre Parks vid in the link in your bio. You know when you said to me, give me that second protein bar then? You know those memes when it's like Adele just looking into the audience like that and it's a quotation when you're trying to work out who the fuck you think she's talking to.
But you said you don't like them, so you've brought 2.
They're not nice.
So give me
They're nice in the sense that I would have it with a cup of tea just to get sufficient protein in, not for a protein shake.
Cool story, bro.
This evening for dinner we're having 125 grams of pasta with 165 grams of prawns. Raw prawns, not going to eat them raw, obviously. And 25 grams of green pesto. I'm also going to finish the salmon, which is 125 grams of that, with 1 bagel and some lemon as a little starter. 10 o'clock, final calories of the day. We are finishing off the calories with 2 slices of wholemeal bread with peanut butter and Marmite, a fruit bowl, kiwi and apple, some Weetabix minis, a cup of tea and a protein bar. 200ml of milk is going in them Weetabix minis. It's shite.
It's fucking shite.
Shite, not shit. Oh my god, Tom, it's past 7 o'clock. You're not going to get fat with all these carbs. No, total calorie intake at the end of the day is pretty much the most important thing when it comes down to dieting. I am in a bulk in an off season, but I'm just not a big eater in the morning. I tend to have a lot of my calories in the evening time, which is absolutely fine to do. I'm ending my calories for today on, I don't have my phone. So total calorie intake for the day is 198 grams of protein, 435 carb and 74 grams of fat. That is with 88 grams of sugar in there as well. So at the moment, generally if I'm transitioning into either an off season or a contest prep or a cut for that matter, there will be a period of time, usually 2 to 3 weeks, in which I will either drop down or go up to some form of maintenance calorie intake. So at the moment I've dropped down to about 3,000 to 3,200 calories. When I get back from New York, we'll then go into an actual deficit for the contest prep to begin. So before I leave for New York, I wanted to briefly, this is very brief, and I will do a elongated version of lean bulking in the future. But before I leave for sunny New York, I think it's sunny, let's have a look. Weather in New York tomorrow.
The weather's looking good for New York, the United States tomorrow, up to 20 degrees.
Jeez! This is a question. This is an answer to a question really by a guy called Zachariah on Instagram. He said, "Hi Thomas, I recently properly got into training and was wondering what I should do to add as much mass as possible. I've taken the lean approach. I'm gaining weight slowly." Like I said, this is very basic, but just before I go, we'll go through it slightly with training and nutrition. In the future, we'll go through different food examples and supplementation, etc. But just as an outline, we'll have a look. With regard to training in a lean, this lean bulking seems to have been conjured up from individuals, more personal trainers that try and sell some sort of dream to their clients. I feel the whole lean bulking, it's like, oh, I'm going to gain muscle with no fat. It's very hard to gain a considerable amount of muscle mass unless you're heavily drug assisted without gaining some sort of fat mass. So don't get too depressed when you see your abs go or get a little bit fluffy. It's just part and parcel of the whole thing. Anyway, training. I would personally go on an upper lower or a push-pull leg style split. I think the typical bro training of hitting one body part weekly is nowhere near enough. You do way too many sets and you're sore, and it's not needed. I feel that it isn't needed at all. So a push pull or an upper lower, and try to hit your body parts 2 to 3 times weekly. You may think, well, that's way too much if I'm hitting it 2 to 3 times weekly. You know, am I supposed to train intense every session? Then you would implement something like a DUP, and that way within those 3 sessions you could go for a 6 to 8, so a fairly strength based session, a 10 to 12 for hypertrophy, and a 14 to 16. And then you can either within that go linear or reverse linear, so start relatively high volume, low intensity, and so on and so on. With regard to nutrition, this is where everything's made, isn't it? This is where the abs are made, in the kitchen, etc. The whole process of the lean bulk is the small incremental changes in the calorie surplus. So you've got guys that bulk on crazy high calories with a crazy high surplus, which tends to lead to a lot more fat gain. But basically with the surplus, I would go between a 10 to 15% surplus. So for example, if you're a 200-pound individual, we work out your BMR at 2,100 calories. You may be fairly active and train maybe 4 times a week, giving you an activity level of 1.5, might be a little bit higher, but that usually churns out about 3,150 calories. 10 to 15% of that will go 10% is 315 calories. So in total, if you were to start with me, for example, we would put you on around 3,460 calories, and we would assess your weight throughout the days and throughout the weeks, and if it's not increasing and the progress pictures aren't looking good, then we will increase that maybe by 100 calories. So generally the whole lean debate is through a smaller surplus. With regard to the actual macro split, as I said, we'll go into more detail in a future video, but just very, very briefly, as a protein target, especially in an off season, I would go between a 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So if you're 80 kilos, then you might go between 128 grams of protein per day to 160. There's probably many individuals that are gasping at their screen at the moment, but there's plenty of studies to show that these huge amounts of protein that individuals are consuming each day bear no extra advantage in terms of overall muscle mass. Having said that, a lot of my guys that are watching this, or girls, probably be drug assisted, so you can bump up those figures, but I think he's 15 or 16 years old, so I'm hoping he's not touching any gear. But generally, if you're an 80 kilo, you're looking at 128 to 160. With fat, I tend to go, some people might go with the sort of 10 to 20 or 35% of your overall calories. I think that's quite a big gap. I just like to go with 1 gram of lean kilogram of body weight. So if you're 10% body fat, for example, and weigh 80 kilos, we'll put you on around about 70 grams of fat per day, which is, I mean, a lot of my clients and myself find it quite hard to get in fat at the end of the day, and they tend to like having a higher carbohydrate intake. But if you're an individual that likes high fat, you can go high fat and lower carb. And then with your carbs, it's just whatever's left over. That is as simple as it is. So in this case, the protein is at 160, which gives you 640 calories, 70 grams of fat, giving you 630. You would take this away from your surplus that we've put you in, so 3,465, you take that away and you'll be given 2,195 calories. Once you have that number, you would just divide that by 4 and that will churn out your carbohydrate intake. So that's a very basic look into a lean bulk or an off season. And that's it, ladies and germs. The off season is officially finished. New York's tomorrow, so diet will be pretty sporadic and all over the place. So when we get back, contest prep starts for the shows next year. I hope you've enjoyed the journey we've both been on together. I'm not going anywhere. I don't know why I'm saying like I'm going anywhere. Just going to end with my story. TM Cycles, if you're not following me on Instagram, go and follow. This is going out tomorrow, so you should have 24 hours. So you'll be able to catch a few hours of the story. Love Islander Rijkaard, me and him always get into a spat. So I liked the geezer. I liked him on Love Island. I thought he was alright. And on, what's the other one he went on? The ITV Bender. Weekender. Magaluf Weekender. He's released a test booster. Someone atted him and said it's a load of rubbish, and then he did a story saying these boys are bitch boys, they can never provide any research. I've just spent the last 40 minutes of my own time, 40 minutes of my own time, citing studies to completely crush his claims, basically, and he deleted every single one of them and has now blocked me. I guess the truth hurts. But it's mad, isn't it? In this current industry, in this profession almost, that individuals can get away with saying those sorts of things. But if this was like transferred into like El's line of work or my mum's or my dad's, and they were doing what he was doing in that sense, I mean, they'd be disciplined, they'd probably be fired. Anyway, nothing against you, Rijkaard. I think that's it between me and you. He's blocked me, look. It's been fun, but that is all you'll ever hear from King Cycles ever again. I apologise if I've ever pissed you off. I'll see you in New York. I love every single one of you.